if we have a look at the next slide, and this seems to be a common one that we see, Rob, is that advisors and their clients believe they're diversified because I've got international equities and I've got domestic equities, and in my Australian equities, I've got these active managers who give me diversification away from the index. And the answer is that they don't. And in the main, they're never going to because they are in the business of investing in international equities or domestic equities. And so what I did is I put together this matrix on the basis of a few fund managers who'd either rung up or been put under my nose in the last month or so, and I ran a correlation matrix. And what you can see is there are more reds and browns there than there are blues. And the reason that there are more reds than blues is because they're all equities. And it doesn't really matter whether you're in international equities or domestic equities, they are strongly to very strongly correlated. So when international equities are running, Australian equities will be running, and vice versa. And you take that across 5, 10 years, you can even take it out across 15 years, and the correlations will get closer. And you see a bit of an oddity there. You've got a couple there that are light blue, which is moderate. So they're still positively correlated. You've got some diversification, but if you invested in all of these, you've got a pretty poorly constructed portfolio. And the reason you've got some light blues there, which is moderate, is because you're in very small companies in the Ausbil fund, and you've got some global property in there. But to say that, oh, I invested in this fund and it's not correlated to the broader international index or the broader Australian index is just not true. It's just not correct. So it's very difficult if you just invest in equities to ever have a properly constructed portfolio. You're diversified, but your construction is terrible. And if you have equities and a smattering of fixed interest, then your portfolio construction is still pretty poor. Okay, because once you made the decision to invest in equities, you basically are strongly correlated, and your client's fate is sealed.
Well, I guess, Andrew, just on that, I guess this gets back to every morning I get up and turn on the Sky News to find out what happened overseas, and your mate Tom Petrosky or whoever it is gets on there and says the Australian share market will have a good open because of this is how the overseas share markets went. So it's basically the same principle, isn't it? Like if the economic conditions are good for companies in the US and good for here, markets tend to follow each other. By definition, you can't have an uncorrelated portfolio holding things that behave the same way to similar information.
Correct.